Hey guys, Ralph here. Welcome to True Power Health on this fabulous Friday here in Connecticut. You're drinking your vegetable juice, man. You're drinking your fruit juice in this heat. Oh, it's the best thing you can do. Best thing you can do. Hydrate yourself and rejuvenate with the nutrients of living plants. Anyway, you saw the thumbnail. Sign Ohtani, trade Trout. It's simple. It's simple, guys. If you've been following the sports lately, you know that by August 1st, which will be Tuesday, I believe. I'm not even sure. It doesn't matter. Tuesday is going to be the trade deadline in Major League Baseball. And every single pundit, every single reporter is just beside themselves thinking that Shohei Ohtani may become available. Shohei Ohtani is probably at this point the most valuable commodity in sports. He's the first one in the history of baseball that has pitched and hit and played the field to any degree whatsoever since Babe Ruth. And Babe Ruth didn't really do them on the same year. He did a little bit of pitching with his, but for the most part, Ohtani is the only one that is a significant pitcher as well as a significant hitter. Now, Ohtani is leading the team in the league in home runs, and so every year he is an MVP candidate, and he is having an excellent year pitching. So every year he's in the running for the Cy Young Award or the MVP of pitching. And the most valuable commodity in sports. And the fact that he has bigger than life in not one but two countries, he's from Japan and he's the biggest star in Japan. I mean, that is a revenue stream that is going to pay for itself. So, by calculations and, people that know what they're talking about, which they don't, they say he could be the first $60 million a year player. And I think when all is considered, when you combine a perennial all-star with a perennial Cy Young level pitcher, each one in his own right is going to be $30 million a year. So if you got it all in one, give him 55, 60 million. I have no problem. It's not my money. I think it's sick, but that's not the point. Now, Artie Moreno, the owner of the Los Angeles Angels, is a wealthy guy. There's no question about it, and we are not going to hold any telethons for him that we can pay for Ohtani. But the fact of the matter is, he is not one of the deeper pockets. He's not. He's not Steve Cohen for the Mets. He's not the consortium that owns the Dodgers and all that sort of stuff. It's not that level. So, is he going to be able to afford 3, 4, 5 superstars? No. Most teams won't. Cohen says that he will, but the fact of the matter is it hasn't worked out for him. But that's a different scenario. Okay? So what you've got is Ohtani. And on the same team, you've got Mike Trout making, I think, 35 to 40 million. I'm not sure. So basically, if you sign Ohtani at 60 million, you're going to have two players that are commanding $100 million for the two of them. And guys, that is an exorbitant amount of money, even by today's standards, for two players. Now, you've got the most valuable commodity of sports in Ohtani, entering his prime, and you've got a guy named Mike Trout who is good when he plays, but he doesn't play. He doesn't play. If you look at his last 5 years, he hasn't sniffed playing a high 150 game. No, it's 16 here, 73 games here, 45 there. He breaks down. He's broken down. Now here is where it comes into the whole health and fitness thing. Guys, they are both roid guys. Absolutely no question about it. Both of them are roid guys. Now, if you've been following this channel at all, I don't care. You want to take the roids? Go ahead, take the roids. I don't care. I'll still watch the game if you're on steroids. Guys, the fact of the matter is that's silly. What I just said is silly. because you can't watch any sport, none, if you're not going to watch, if you won't watch them because they're on steroids. You don't think Simone Biles was on steroids? Oh, give me a break. You don't think Serena Williams was juiced to the gills? We can go right down the list. We can go right down the list. Anyway, they're both juiced. Now, here's the deal. If you go by the great sage and soothsayer Bill Parcells, he said the greatest ability an athlete can have, the greatest ability is availability. You have to be available to play. And at this point, Ohtani has recently had his Tommy John surgery. Okay? So his arm should be good for the next 2 to 5 years. Okay? And other than that, all he does is DH, so he's probably, you're going to hope, against hope, he's not going to get injured to any serious degree. Actually, just last night, he pulled a muscle in his back just swinging the bat on a home run. If you watch it, he just pulled a muscle in his upper back, lower back, swinging the bat. Guys, these are roid injuries. They just are. The steroids take you places that you wouldn't normally be able to go. There's no question about it. But since they are taking you places that the body probably shouldn't be going for long periods of time, guys, you have an issue there that the body breaks down at an alarming rate when it starts to break down. I'm not making the rules. Look at Trout. He can't stay on the field. Look at Aaron Judge. Can't stay on the field. Giancarlo Stanton can't stay on the field. Guys, it is, along with the physique, the telltale signs of the physique. Now, that's another thing. Ohtani had his Tommy John surgery. He took the year off 3 years ago, I believe. Doesn't really matter. But he came back from that 25 pounds heavier, if not 30. All bloated, all buffed up. Guys, he's a roid guy. Now, he's young enough, and I think it's at a point where if you give him 5 to 8 years, you'll get your money's worth out of it. You'll at least get it on the front end, okay? Trout has been on the roid since high school. He just has. Look, I don't care. If you care, I'm not insulting him when I'm saying that. I'm just stating facts. He has been on the roid since high school, and he is breaking down. And he has to go to a team that can DH him. That is not going to be the Angels because Ohtani does the DHing. Okay? So, the Yankees would take him yesterday. The Mets would take him. The Dodgers would absolutely take him. And guys, what would the Angels get in return? They'd get at least an all-star caliber player that they could that could fit into any lineup immediately, and a bevy of draft picks. And especially for the Angels that need to build around their crown jewel in Ohtani, there's the draft picks. Guys, it makes perfect sense for everybody involved. I think, especially if Trout gets in a situation where he can mostly DH, the Red Sox might take him. They have deep pockets, but they're in a farm system building mode. But if they get in a place where they got deep pockets and he can DH, you can coax a few more good years out of him. He's never going to be the guy that he was. He used to steal 30, 40 bases a year. He's not doing that ever again. Guys, he strikes out a lot. He strikes out. His best year, he struck out 189 times. Guys, that's a big strikeout guy. So you got the strikeouts, you got the lack of production in, he's in decline. He's just in decline. I have nothing against him. I'm sure he's a nice guy. That's what it is. Me, I think it's fool's gold. I think you're silly to think of anything else. Sign Ohtani, trade Trout. Give me your comments and criticisms down below. Eat and drink your fruits and vegetables, and live your life with true power. Not the fake stuff, true power. Love you all.